I have an idea that can reduce crime, reduce recidivism, reduce prejudice, and reduce violence. It can also teach people how to better communicate their ideas, hopefully making the world a safer and better place. This idea is that we teach debate in all prisons, jails, and schools, giving people the thinking skills they need to make better choices in life. My name is David, and I'm speaking from the Texas Department of Criminal Justice's Huntsville unit, better known as the Walls. And I'm 1/12 of the original Lee College Huntsville unit debate team. And on October 7th, 2017, we were a part of history on this very stage. You see, we were the first ever Texas prison debate team. And when you go to hashtag prison debate, you're going to see that we competed against the Texas A&M University speech and debate team, a nationally ranked speech and debate team, in the first ever George Beto Invitational Debate. And this was the first organized debate held within a Texas prison. Excuse me. I almost forgot. We won. You don't have to feel too sorry for Texas A&M. We beat them so badly that when they left here about a week later, they won the state championship in debate. So they did pretty good, and we're very happy for them. Now, before I continue, I want to address perception. You see, our culture instills a belief, a perception, that prisons and jails are filled with dangerous people, and they're dangerous places to stay. These people are evil, and they can never contribute to society once they've been released. My coach, Adam Key, likes to say, perception is the truth, regardless of what the facts say. And he's right. But perception can change with perspective. And anybody who shares my perspective of a jail or a prison, viewed from the inside, be it as a prisoner, a staff member, or a volunteer, we can all tell you they're not the most dangerous places to live. As a matter of fact, some prisons are safer than many neighborhoods today. We have people who care so much about our safety that they're willing to come check on us every 15 minutes to make sure we're okay. You show me a neighborhood watch that does that. Hey, Margaret, just checking. Be right back. But seriously, these perceptions are wrong. As to the perception that they're filled with evil people, prisons are filled with normal people, like you, your friends, and your family. The only difference is these people have made poor choices. And we all make poor choices in life. Some poor choices have very minor consequences. You end up with a bad haircut, poorly dressed, or worst case scenario, you embarrass your dog. All right? Poor dog. Other poor choices have much more severe consequences, and you end up in handcuffs or in prison dressed like this. Now, as to the belief that nobody who's ever gone to jail or prison can ever contribute to society again, well, I just want to point out that Johnny Cash, Tim Allen, Danny Trejo, Fyodor Dostoevsky, Mahatma Gandhi, and Nelson Mandela were all incarcerated, and they all contributed to society after they were released. One of my favorite examples is Hassad Hassan. He's better known as MVP. Not only is he a former WWE wrestler, he's also a former convict. He's also a great public speaker, and you're going to see that when you go to hashtag prison debate. Now, if anybody out there still has doubts as to whether or not somebody who has been to jail or prison can ever contribute to society after they've been released, maybe you're a prisoner and you have doubts about yourself after you're released. Maybe you're watching this video and you're thinking that somebody who's incarcerated doesn't have anything worth listening to. Let me just remind all of you that Joseph, Peter, Paul, and Jesus Christ were all incarcerated. So there's always potential. Now, I hope that my perspective has changed some perceptions. So I'll go ahead and continue. The Texas House of Representatives, House Committee on Corrections, states that many offenders and many of us on the outside lack the thinking skills that they need for the future, that are needed for the future. Excuse me. Now, this is true. You notice they say many of us, because people lack thinking skills inside and outside of prison. If more people knew how to think, there would be less people in prison. Now, I'm going to need everybody's help tonight. When I point to this side, I want everybody over here to yell, teach. Is everybody ready? Ready? Teach. Excellent. Now, when I point to this side, everybody's going to yell, debate. Ready? Debate. Okay, look, I am one of the few TEDx presenters who has a literal captive audience. All right? The parole office is closed for the day, so nobody's going anywhere, which means we got plenty of time to get this right. All right? Let's try this one more time. Ready? Teach. Debate. Thank you. Anytime I point to you all tonight, this is what you're going to yell. Is teach, debate. Excellent. The legislature had a quote that I really liked. It says, teach a child the right path, and when he is older, he will remain upon it. And this is a brilliant quote. But the only problem is, in order to pick the right path, you have to know how to think. That's why we're going to teach debate. Excellent. We want to teach debate if we want to help people improve their thinking skills. You see, there are two very important skills everybody needs in life. You need to be able to be a critical thinker, and you need to have verbal communication skills. And there are people who are going to argue, well, we already teach that in school. And you're right, we do. But you have to remember, 36% of state prisoners have less than a high school education. That means these people did not have the opportunity to learn these skills, which to me seems like a very good reason to be teaching debate in all prisons and jails. You see, research has shown that people who study debate have improved critical thinking skills. And this isn't new research. We have studies that go back to 1949 that show that students that study debate are better critical thinkers. We have research that shows debate is the best way to improve critical thinking. If this is the best method we have to improve critical thinking, why aren't we teaching it in every school? Debate requires you to be a critical thinker. It requires you to think fast as well. See, in a debate, you start with 5 topics. Each side gets to strike 2 of them until you have one resolution to argue. And then you only have 30 minutes to plan your argument, to plan your case. And you can't use passion and you can't use prejudice. You have to use logic and reason when you're doing this. Plain and simple, when we teach debate, we're going to teach people how to be better thinkers, and we're going to reduce crime and recidivism. You see, recidivism is just a fancy word for crimes that have been committed by people who have been to prison before. It's nothing. It's still crime. And I have yet to meet anybody who is in prison for singing too loud in church. Now, I will tell you, I've been next to some of y'all singing in church, and it might not be a crime, but I'm pretty sure it's a sin. I'm just going to tell you, not all of you, but some of you, I just want you to know the Bible says make a joyful noise. You have that noise part down pat. You need to work on the joyful. And this isn't prejudice, because Psalms 100 verse 1, that's my evidence. All right? Now, we're going to teach debate if we want to reduce prejudice. You see, prejudice is an opinion, and it can be favorable or unfavorable, but it's formed about something, and it's not based on logic, it's not based on evidence, it's not reason. It's when somebody doesn't take the time or the consideration to judge fairly. As a matter of fact, a prejudiced person is going to twist, distort, manipulate, even ignore facts that conflict with their beliefs. When we teach debate, people are going to be less prejudiced. You might not realize this, but we allow prejudice in our lives all the time. Prejudice thinking we allow in. Anytime we take in information, be it from the internet, the radio, TV, friends, family, politicians, anytime you accept information and you take it for granted as being true, you don't look at the evidence, you don't check the facts. Anytime you do this, you're allowing yourself to be prejudiced. But debate is going to teach you that the only reasonable time you want to accept something as being a fact or believe something is that the evidence requires you to do so. You see, it's going to teach you to be more like Mr. Spock from Star Trek. You're going to be logical. And for those of you who don't like Star Trek, it'll teach you to be more like Mr. Data from Next Generation. So, we need to teach debate if we want to reduce violence. You see, research has shown that there is a direct connection between people who study debate and reduced violence. Research also proves that people who study debate have better skills and are better equipped to resolve conflict without violence. You know, why does debate have such a positive effect? Well, there are many reasons why. But for one, it teaches you how to think. And if you know how to think, you're going to avoid violent situations to begin with. And in addition to that, it teaches you to be a better communicator, which is going to also help you avoid violence. You see, when we need to teach debate if we want to help people improve their communications. Debate is going to help you improve your listening, your public speaking, and your interview skills. See, a lot of people, they don't like to listen. They're not good at listening. We would much rather hear ourselves talk than have to form a valid argument or defend our beliefs. But the problem is, when we don't listen to other people, they can cut off communications altogether, which is never healthy. Or we can make them angry, or even worse, violent. You see, our beliefs are a part of who we are. Our ideas are a part of who we are. Your beliefs and your idea are every bit a part of you as your arm is a part of you. And when somebody attacks your beliefs, it's just as if they're attacking your body, your person. And what happens when you're attacked? You want to defend yourself. And you have two choices to defend yourself, verbally or physically. And if you don't have the communication skills that you need to defend yourself verbally, you have that one defense. And that's what can lead to violence. When we teach debate in all prisons, jails, and schools, people will learn how to think. They will learn how to make better choices. They will learn how to communicate, and this will also help us reduce violence. Debate is going to help you with your public speaking skills. Believe it or not, more people fear public speaking more than they fear death. More people are afraid to come up here and speak than die. And if you're too afraid to communicate, how will you ever share your ideas? How are you ever going to defend your position? Debate is going to help you fight this fear because it makes you confront your fear of public speaking. I hated public speaking before I joined the debate team. You can ask Mr. Key. I hated it with a passion. Now I'm giving a TEDx talk. How crazy is that? See, debate has you arguing topics that you don't necessarily agree with and other topics you don't know well. And when you can argue topics like these successfully, then you can argue so many other topics that you are passionate about, the ones that you are knowledgeable about, because you're going to have the confidence to do so. Now, debate is also going to improve your interview skills. Believe it or not, interviewing is a part of life. We are always interviewing, and not just jobs. This is an interview right now. When you meet somebody for the first time, it's an interview. You're trying to determine whether or not you're going to be friends. And debate is going to help you with that interview process. You see, interviews are very much like a debate. You're going to have to present your case, you're going to have to provide evidence for your claims, and you're going to have to defend your position. And more often than not, you're going to have to overcome prejudices and perceptions. In a job interview, how many people have things they're going to have to overcome? How many people have obstacles they have to overcome? All of us. Maybe you've been fired from a job. Maybe you don't have a job history. Maybe you're a felon. And when you study debate, you're going to learn how to overcome these obstacles. You're going to learn how to win those judges over. Because in an interview, your interviewer is your judge and your opponent. Debate is going to give you the skills you need to succeed in this. In the audience, I have the rest of the current Lee College Huntsville unit debate team. We've known each other for a long time now, and we've learned a lot about each other and debate over the years. Debate, it's safe to say, has allowed all of us to make better choices in life. Debate is going to help us make better decisions. It's going to help us when we go to the world. Many of us are going to use our debate skills. Some will use them to go back to their old jobs and convince them to rehire them. Others might start new careers with their skills. There are a few that might actually try and win an argument with their wife, but I don't recommend it because you can't win. Even when you win, you don't win. Just remember 2 words. Yes, dear. Seriously, our debate training is going to help us make better choices. It's going to help us in life. Most importantly, it's going to help ensure that we don't come back to prison. Teaching debate in prisons, jails, and schools can reduce crime, can reduce recidivism, reduce prejudice, and reduce violence. And it's going to teach people to be better communicators. But don't take my word for it. Look at the research. Look at my evidence. We need to teach debate in all prisons, jails, and schools. I'm going to leave with a challenge. I challenge anyone in a position of authority to prove me wrong. All you have to do is teach debate in all prisons, jails, and schools. Prove it doesn't work. Prove it doesn't do what I say. We need to quit letting people make mistakes in life and quit making them learn from mistakes in life. What we need to do is teach them how to think, teach them how to make better choices, and teach them to avoid making mistakes. And we can do this when we teach debate. I'm David, and teaching debate in all prisons, jails, and schools is my idea worth sharing. Thank you.